Hello everyone and welcome to the Carcode YouTube channel. My name's Sam and if you're new here, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for more new car reviews and car content every single week. Today I'm at Lake District Audi to be checking out the new A5 range. Really excited to be the first UK video on this, so thanks so much for the opportunity and thank you to Steve, the sales manager, as well for making this video possible, inviting me down to have an exclusive first look of both the A5 Saloon and also the S5 Avant. So I'm going to talk about all the specifications and what you need to know about these vehicles. These are both right-hand drive cars as well, as you can see, registered to be on the roads, and these will be coming in November to customers, so not too far off, but this is a nice little exciting first look of the vehicles. We'll start off with this one. This is the A5 Saloon. You'll see why it's not really a saloon and also where the name comes from and where it fits into the Audi range now. So you can see they've kind of emptied the showroom out just to show the A4 and the new A5 range. We've got the A5 Sportback here, and then we've got the A4 Saloon here as well. The new A5 is basically a blend between the two. It takes on an A5 badge, but essentially it replaces the A4 and the A5 in one model, which is quite interesting, and you'll see elements from both cars on the new version. It looks really nice as well. I really like the design. You can see it's quite clearly different from what we've seen before, with true Audi elements mixed in there, but definitely a new modern design as well. There's three different trims to start off with. You get the Sport, the S-Line, which is this one, and also the Edition 1 model, which has got pretty much everything on it, and it's got everything blacked out for a more sporty look. It's based on an S-Line, so it's still a sporty vehicle, but even furthermore. This should be the most popular model, the S-Line model, and it starts at just under £45,000. As for the S5 models, they start at just under £70,000 for the Saloon and just over £71,000 for the Avant, like this one here. That is in line with the A5 range as well, with all of the Avant estates being around £1,500 to £2,000 more than the Saloon counterpart. The reason they've dropped the A4 name is that will be an A4 e-tron, a fully electric car, and the A6 is also a fully electric vehicle as well. So the odd numbers are going to be their internal combustion engine cars, and their even numbers are going to be their pure electric e-tron vehicles. The exterior design of the new A5 and S5 is beautiful. They've done a great job on this Audi, really having some nice curves and just clean lines. It looks really nice, a nice evolution from the previous models. It doesn't just look the same, it has a different take on it, which I really appreciate. It looks a little bit different and a bit out there. You've got these really lovely curves to the back of the vehicle, whether you go for the Saloon or the Avant as well, which is a really muscular design, which I think looks great. This brushed chrome looks excellent as well on this S5 Avant, and it's all blacked out on the Edition 1 models. So there's a few different trims you can get. Like the S5, you've got the chrome surround around the windows, which is really nice, and Audi say they've designed it with the long bonnet in mind and the smaller glass house, and inside it's not really that claustrophobic. You've got a really big windscreen. It's just these windows that are a little bit smaller for that sportier design on the outside. On this S-Line model, you've got these round inserts in the bumpers, which look quite cool, quite an aggressive look. They are slightly more subtle on the Sport model, which is the standard version of the vehicle. But of course the S-Line is for that sportier aesthetic. Looks really nice and athletic, not too different from the S5 models, but obviously they are much more powerful with the beefier 3-litre engine. I'll talk about the colours on offer now. There are a few different colours to choose from. The standard colour is the solid Arcona white, which of course suits the car, but maybe a little boring. If you do want to go for metallic colours, they start at £725, which is quite decent for this size of car. This one is the Grenadine Red. I'm not normally a big red fan, but I think this is really stunning. It's a really dark cherry sort of burgundy red, and I think it looks very premium. Really, really nice and a little bit different, so I do think that looks great. My favourite though is the new Horizon Blue. That's very nice, very like the greyish blue on my trainers today. You can also get it on S5 models as well, which is great to see. I really like that they've done some fun colours with the vehicle. There's of course some colours that we've seen in the past as well, like the Daytona Corona Grey Pearl. That's available on S-Line Edition 1 and all the sportier models, but not on Sport. Another colour not available on the Sport model is the Ascari Blue. That is a £1,495 option. That's quite a deep dark blue. There is also the Firement Blue as well, which is £725. There's many different colours then to choose from for most people. You do also have the option of the Floret Silver for £725, which is really nice. It's not just a standard silver, it's got hints of other colours. I think it would look really great on the saloon model, for example. I quite like the new colour on the A6. There's a blue which is stunning. That would look great on the A5, but I think Horizon Blue looks great and it's definitely the colour I'd go for. And they're all quite reasonable in cost. Prices on the road that you see, the headline figures, actually include a metallic paintwork, so you just take off £725 for the solid white. So it's quite nice that they've done that. You're looking at that price, it's including the metallic paintwork. So that £42,675 that the A5 range starts from includes a metallic paintwork option. Wheels on the A5 range between 18 and 20 inches. They start on the Sport model with the 18-inch 5-arm alloy wheels. They're just a normal standard silver wheel but suit the car well. You can opt on the Sport for the 5-arm twist design, which I think look excellent. They're a free of charge option. I really like the look of those, a little bit sportier on the vehicle. These are the 19-inch alloys you get on the S-Line model. You can't currently opt for different wheels on the S-Line. These are what you get. You get what you're given essentially on the S-Line Edition 1 and S models for now, with only the Sport having 2 different wheel options available. These look really nice though. Online they kind of don't do them justice, but in person they're great. They're a diamond cut look with this dark grey inserts, quite a sporty design and quite a nice progression from just having standard plain silver wheels that we see on the Sport model and what we often used to see on S-Line models. It's a bit more dynamic and makes the wheel look bigger. A 19-inch should be a good size as well, blending comfort and also that great style. You can see you've just got normal brake calipers on this, whereas the Edition 1 vehicles get them painted in red, which look really cool, and of course the S5 get uprated brakes also with the red calipers, which look excellent. And going up to Edition 1, you get the 5-arm fold wheels, which are 20-inch alloy wheel. They look really good. My favourites are definitely these ones on the S5 range. The 20-inch diamond cut alloy wheels look excellent. They're also a 5-arm spoke design, but look really great. We will probably see some more wheel designs added as well as time goes on, and we'll see a few different options as well. The range has just started, so they've started with the 3 trim levels on the A5 and then your S5 being a singular trim. But as we normally see from Audi, they'll start to bring out some more options. Front of the S5 model, and of course it's got the sportier look to the normal A5s. This has this new grille on this one, as you can see. They've gone for a narrower, wider look, which I think looks really elegant and modern. The badges are also a little bit lower down than cars we see like the new A3, which are a little bit higher up. This looks a lot better. I like these white rings as well on the S5 models. On the Edition 1, with like a black package that comes as standard, you get darker rings, and I definitely think the lighter rings pop more and look really great. This is a really nice sort of satin matte finish on the S5. They've also really focused on making real elements on the vehicle, like real tailpipes, so let's have a look around there. You can see at the back of this S5 you've got the quad exhaust pipes, which are all real and they look excellent. On the normal A5 you'll have double exhaust, and then on the diesel models you'll have a single outlet exhaust. But it looks really good, and they've definitely listened to consumers in this department. Having the real exhaust was something that a lot of people wanted to see from Audi, and as I say, as it is a TDI model, you get just the exhaust on one side. However, they've not blanked off another exhaust, it's just the bumper, so they've done a really good job making it all look really great. And as I say, they've listened to customers, with all cars having physical tailpipes and the TFSI having the double tailpipes, which looks great, and the S5 having quad tailpipes is excellent. So really nice design to the back of the vehicle. You can see it's got a sporty badge with A5 on it, sportier, more modern design. Unfortunately, even though it's got a hatch design, it doesn't have a rear window wiper, but they say obviously the angle of the window means it shouldn't really need a wiper on it. but I would still like to have seen that on the car. But it does have your heating elements, of course, in there, so that helps just demist everything. This has got the lighter logos on the back here. You've got this wrap around light bar, which looks really cool. You can also configure the different elements in the taillights from a choice of different options. They've even got a dynamic one which sort of moves. Not sure what I feel about that. It's OLED technology, so it's all very clever, and also it does inform drivers, such as hazards. Your little triangles come in there, which is really cool. And also if someone comes near to the car, they light up brighter. So just to kind of warn people, if they get around 2 meters to the car in a different vehicle, the lights will glow brighter. So just to let people to back off a bit. Audi have always done great with their LED lighting technology, and this is just the next step up from that. Is excellent to see. Audi have made the LED Plus headlights standard now, with these different signatures in the top section and then your lower main beams in the bottom section. I like it more as well than the look of having a separate beam and then a separate daytime running lights. I quite like everything being in one unit for a more coherent look, and this is quite jazzy and fancy. We saw this first on the Q4 e-tron. You can click up there to watch my video on the Q4 e-tron. I think this is my favourite lighting signature, with like the stripes along there. A really cool thing with Audis, they've got the lights down to a T. All the technology in them is very, very clever, and being able to customise it's just a nice other little fun thing to have a more sporty look, or have a more traditional look, or have something a little bit different. It's quite fun. Stepping inside the S5 Avant, and you can see it's got Audi's all new infotainment displays, looking incredible. So you've got this dual screen, is really cool, and then you've got the passenger screen on the S5s as well. This is also on the Edition 1 models, and basically it gives the passenger their own entertainment for the journeys. Essentially it's its own infotainment screen. It's in a good place for the passenger, they can see straight away. Not sure if it could cause any car sickness looking at the screen as you're driving, but quite nice. I like it. It gives that premium feel, especially like what we used to see in the back seats of cars, on the backs of the cars with those little screens. This is what this is giving. You can connect your phone and then you could watch your catch-up TV or whatever. This also goes blank when you're driving along, so the driver can't get distracted or get any spoilers from your favourite TV programmes, only brightening up when you come to a complete stop or a traffic light or whatnot. Kind of try to blend it in with bits of materials as well, but it does look separate. There's a lot of screenage going on. However, I think it looks quite integrated and quite nice on the vehicle. It doesn't stick up too high, so it is working quite well. As you can see down here, you've got the flatter center console as well that we normally see on the e-tron vehicles, such as this gear selector as well, which I really love. All models are of course S-tronic automatic gearboxes. You can't get a manual on it anymore, unfortunately, but you haven't been able to get one on the A4, A5 for a few years. Do have Alcantara across the bottom of the dash here. This really reminds me of Porsche. I think it gives that vibe. Talking about interiors, on the S5 you get this black leather as standard. However, for a free option cost you can go for the red, which looks incredible. I think I'd definitely go for that option. Just gives something a little bit different, a little bit of a different element to the vehicle. As you can see, you've got the flat bottom steering wheel as well on all the sportier models. That looks excellent. You do have the flatter Audi badge, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it does kind of blend in nicely with the cabin. This is all kind of carbon fibre looking materials, and it all does feel quite premium. On the sport model you get a fully round steering wheel, and you can't even opt for the flat bottom steering wheel like you can on other Audi models on a sport model. Maybe that will come in the future though. I love this look on the wheel. It looks great, and it's got almost that hexagonal look that we first saw with the Q4 e-tron as well. Climate controls do stay here, and then you can press the menu button there and it will pop up your climate control menu, but they're not physical controls as such. You do have a physical volume controller here though as well, and also buttons for your camera system. This camera system is standard on the higher models, so it gives you that 360-degree camera, as we can see, all around the vehicle. That's my favourite feature, the both sides feature. Really clever to have that. If you're going for a small tight space or want to check you in, then that's a really nice thing to have on the vehicle. But it's quite a nice size, the A5 and S5, that it doesn't feel too big to get into a tight space, I shouldn't think. Lots of people will miss having a physical controller on the vehicle to kind of control the screens. It's all touchscreen. but I think a lot of people don't mind that it's huge, but it doesn't bother you too much, as I say, because it doesn't stick up too high, so you can focus on the road, and I can see the bonnet before I see this screen out here, and Audi have done that on purpose, and you can kind of focus out of that. This has got the heads-up display as well. That is in the sound and vision pack, which includes this Bang & Olufsen sound system. The ambient lighting is really lovely in the vehicle as well, really brightening up the cabin, making it look quite special as well, as is this Alcantara on the dash there. They're proper buttons, but they're just in this gloss black. This actually means they're really easy to clean. You don't get dust in between all the buttons, so I do quite like these. The only time I'm not a huge fan of them is if they're like touch sensitive ones that you can brush up on and accidentally press things, but you do have to physically press each button to turn things on, which is good. And we're inside the normal A5 now, and this has got the roof option, which is very cool. So this is all clear now, and you can kind of bring the blind over if you like and make it opaque, or have it clear. You can also have different designs, like so. You press it once, it has stripes. Press it again, it has different stripes. Or you can have it more frosty glass, which I like because it still lets light in, but you can't really see everything moving. It just feels quite premium then. It feels like you've got a light almost above you. So I like that for a dark headlining car. Brightens up the cabin really nicely. If you still don't like having a bright cabin, you might not like this because you still get a bit of light coming into the car. So you can't shut it completely as such like you have on other cars with a physical blind. It's not the same. Also, unfortunately, it doesn't open, so you can't actually open the roof to get fresh air in. It is a fixed glass roof. We see that on a lot of electric cars, for example, for aerodynamics and weight saving measures. So it's the same on this, unfortunately. That's good as well. So you don't have to have it fully opaque or fully clear. You can have it in the back a bit more closed off, and then in the front have it more light, which is clever. I like that. Of course, it's expensive technology and you pay a lot for that, but it has that wow factor. I'm quite looking forward to the A4 e-tron, the fully electric A4, because the A6 is great, but it's a lot of money and it's quite a big car. This car sort of size, fully electric, is going to be great. Really exciting times for Audi ahead. This is leather on this one, or leatherette, whereas on the S5 it's in Alcantara. These seats are leather and leatherette as well, and they are on the S line, and also similar seats are on the Sport model. This one does also have the option of the passenger display as well, A5 launch edition, so that gives you a few extra features that you can see off this sheet, and they don't normally put these on the configurator, so definitely best to check with your local Audi dealer what comes on what car, because they are quite different, especially at the start or launch of a model. We see things change quite a bit. And what about the boot on the saloon model? They've called it a saloon, so it makes sense to blend in with what we've seen previously. However, it is a hatchback, so it's more of a sportback design. It gives a slightly smaller boot than the Avant, which is the estate model, but at 445 litres, it's a really decent size. Lots of space for most families in there, and obviously it beats the smaller hatchbacks with their normal 380 litre boot. It gives a bit more space, normally what you'd see on a small SUV. There is a lot bigger hatch cars out there with bigger boots, but I think this is perfectly fine for lots of people. I really like these chrome finishes as well to protect that bit of the plastic. It looks really nice. Then you've got a normal parcel shelf on the saloon model, and on the Avant model you've got your sliding load cover, which is really nice. Of course, they'll all come with tyre inflation kits rather than a spare wheel, and that's quite standard now on most vehicles. This car here does have electric tailgate as well, and I do like this look of the saloon model. With it offering that hatch practicality is excellent. Me personally, I wouldn't choose a saloon that had one of those silly boots. Even though I don't have a lot of things to take, I just don't find a saloon boot that practical or user-friendly. This is much better hatchback, actually opening into the cabin of the car, giving you much more space and better access as well. And we'll have a look in the boot of the S5 Avant now. Of course, the Avant model is the more practical estate version of the Audis. This offers 476 litres of space, so a little bit smaller than the A4 Avant before, but not massively. It's still quite a large, decent sized boot, as is the hatch/saloon as they call it. This one's electric, and then the blind comes down as you move the boot down, like we've seen in the past from other vehicles in Audi's range. It is quite a practical size as well. There is bigger boots out there. I think it's plenty big enough for most people. Obviously the SUVs give you even more practicality, but I think it's nice that we are still seeing estate and saloon cars from the brand. You may well be looking at one of these for your next family vehicle, so let's check out the back seat practicality and see how much space it offers. So, back seats in the A5 or S5 Avant, what's it like? I've got quite a bit of knee room, not the biggest amount, it's not the longest car, but it is a good practical space. Audi do of course offer bigger models. This is a nice size though, the A5. I like that sort of size of vehicle. Anything bigger is a bit overbearing, and smaller won't be as practical either. So it's a good size. Have a look at this. You do have a rear armrest with cup holders in it, which is great to see, something we don't always see from Audi models, so I like that. And then there's enough padding on each side to be comfortable. It feels really good quality, as you'd expect. They've also got ISOFIX points, which are fixed onto there, which is really good, so you don't lose the covers on those. This has got the dark headlining, so it is a little bit dingy in the back of here, so kids might not like that. Can feel a little claustrophobic, but definitely has that sportier feel. If you do want it to have a lighter cabin, the standard sport model on the A5 range has the light headlining, and also you can opt for the sunroof. Let's sit in the middle seat. How is that? Well, there's quite a large tunnel here for all the drivetrain, etc. You do have to put your feet on each side of that, but the floor is flat on each footwell, so you can put your feet quite comfortably there. It's not the most comfortable middle seat in the world, but for shorter journeys it should be absolutely fine, and it's not the worst I've sat in. This perforated leather though is very comfortable, quite sculpted, so you should be very comfy in the back of the A5. I really like that. Let's see the seats folded down. They do go almost completely flat with the boot floor as well, so if you need a bit of extra space, you can fold those down and that gives you a bit more room. To integrated door handles, I'm not always a huge fan of these, but they look great, and I do really prefer them to what we saw on the A4s before, which kind of lifted up in a strange way. These are a bit more ergonomic. I think they've definitely been inspired by their rivals over at BMW for this design. Of course, it is more aerodynamic as well, and it just has a simple button underneath which goes all across the length, so you can press it here and it's still going to open the door or right in the middle, so that's nice. It's not a fiddly thing to do. You don't have to pull outside and lift something up. It's just simply push and open, which is nice. It doesn't flex at all when you open the door. It's nice and solid and it looks really good, so I think that is a nice design from Audi. And let's have a look inside the saloon model for the back seat space as well. It feels quite similar space to the A5 Avant actually. Similar space for your head and knee room as well as decent, so that's great. Still got your really nice quality center armrest, which is nice. This sunroof extends a little bit further back on the estate model, so you'll get that lighter cabin even further back, but it does feel a lot brighter in here with the sunroof than without the sunroof. You've got these built-in blinds on this model as well, which is a lovely feature, something we also see on the new Volkswagen Passat. It feels quite premium. In the back here on both of these launch model vehicles, you've also got the heated outer seats, which is great, and USB-C charger ports back here as well. Sound and comfort pack adds a few different extra features, which is nice to have, like the Bang & Olufsen sound system and the heads-up display for the driver, as well as these more powerful USB-C ports as well. You can go crazy with the options in a way, but they've been not too bad with it. And as I say, you've got the normal parcel shelf in the saloon models with the load cover style in the Avant model. You do have the touch sensitive lights up here as well, which work quite well. Middle seat should be the same as the Avant. Yeah, pretty much the same. Comfortable enough. You have to put your feet on each side of this section here, but it's not awful. I think it feels a lot more spacious in the back of here as well than the BMW 4 Series, so that's definitely a car that this aims to go against, and they are quite close in price. Let's have a look at the engine options on the A5 range now. It is of course on hydraulics, which is a nice premium touch to the vehicle, and a nice layout of the engine with a nice engine cover covering everything up. There's a choice of different engines. It starts off with the 1.5 TFSI, which is a 1.5 turbocharged petrol. This pumps out 148 brake horsepower to the front wheels, getting from 0 to 62 in 9.8 seconds. So it's not the fastest vehicle in the world, but plenty enough for most people. people, especially doing a lot of town driving. If you do need a little bit more oomph, you can also opt for a 2-litre TFSI model, and it's around £2,000 extra on most trim levels. That pumps out 204 PS, which is 201 brake horsepower to the front wheels, sprinting from 0 to 62 in under 8 seconds. That's a really nice engine. It's been also tweaked on this, as has the 1.5, have both been tweaked to give a little bit more efficiency on the vehicle. There then is also the 2-litre TDI models. They have the mild hybrid plus technology, which is very clever, including electric motor assist to start the vehicle. You have a little bit more electrical assistance with those vehicles. Quite interested to see a mild hybrid diesel vehicle like this one is here, with 201 brake horsepower like we see from the 2-litre petrol, but of course this is a lot torquier being the diesel model. Mild hybrid plus technology is very clever. It's a shame we don't see it yet on the petrol models, but that may well come in the future, as well as a plug-in hybrid. We will be seeing that soon. But it's nice that you've got a choice of different engines. They all come with the 7-speed dual clutch S-tronic transmission, automatic. Unfortunately, we don't see any manual transmissions on the A5 range, but we haven't for a while now, and it's not really a huge demand, although I would love to see it. The demand is quite low for manual vehicles now, especially in the premium segment. You can also opt for Quattro all-wheel drive. That is standard on the S5 models, and you can opt for the Quattro TDI model as well, which has the same 201 brake horsepower powertrain, but sprints from 0 to 62 a little bit faster in under 7 seconds compared to just over 7 seconds of the front-wheel drive diesel. Still, having diesels is a great thing on this segment of car, with lots of manufacturers ditching diesels. Company car drivers who drive a lot of motorway miles, a diesel is still the best option for many. So it's great that Audi haven't just abandoned them completely. They're still available, and also there is the choice of the efficient petrol engines as well, with the hybrids and plug-in hybrids coming later on in the future. I know most people will be more excited to look underneath the bonnet of this, the S5. Here we go. You've even got a sportier engine cover with these red stripes, which is quite cool. This is a 3-litre V6 with the mild hybrid plus technology from Audi. So that improves the fuel economy quite a bit, with a combined MPG figure of around 35 miles per gallon. Although that's not a lot, it's really quite good for performance vehicles such as this, with such a lot of power. You've got 376 PS to all 4 wheels, with a rear-wheel drive bias on the S5 models, which is quite interesting to see. But it gives you that sportier driving feel, which is what a lot of people want, and a performance car is a really nice thing to have. These do start at £70,000, and when comparing it to other vehicles, they are all quite similar, to be honest, in the premium German segment. However, this would be quite a nice alternative to an RS6 maybe, or something like that, which are way over £100,000, because this is going to be plenty enough power for most people. Even the A5, I'd argue, is enough power for most. Some people do like to have that extra oomph with an S5 model. 3-litre V6 is a lovely engine as well. If you do a lot of higher speed driving, this is great. Of course, a German brand, this is designed for the Autobahn to be driving very fast. The 2-litre TFSI models are perfectly capable in the UK. I hope you enjoyed this video of the A5 and S5. If you do, make sure to subscribe down below. A huge thanks again to Lake District Audi for making this video possible. It's been great having a first look of this vehicle, and being the first vehicles in the UK is quite exciting, a great opportunity. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next review.